Hey there, folks. Oh, pardon me. Hey there, folks. We are going to be playing a bit of Katawa Shoujo. I think I pronounced that correctly. Shoujo. I don't know. I'm iffy on the second word there. It's Japanese. It is not my first language. I apologize. This is a visual novel sort of dating game, which has got an interesting twist to it. You'll find that out as we progress. Let me make sure the adult content is off. Yes, because I don't want to see that. I don't know about you folks. Let's see. Huh. Strange. Why is this not showing up on Twitch? Yes, I am streaming on Twitch today because the game wouldn't, my usual thing would not load properly. Ah, there it is. Okay. Anyways, this game was recommended to me by my buddy Inigo. You might have seen him hanging around, also known as Count Bob. I just call him Nimmy. And there he is. Hey, Inigo. It's the main character. I'm going to have to make my own choices. He doesn't remember anything about the game. Well, I don't remember too much either. As you can tell maybe by the heart of the bandage here. The main character, he gets sick. And so he's in the hospital for a while. No, this game doesn't take place in a hospital, but it kind of struck a chord with me when he first introduced this to me because I've had to leave school temporarily, hopefully temporarily. God, I hope I can go back, in order to recover from an illness that I have. And so I feel a lot for the main character. I know what he's going through in a sense. So with that little disclaimer, I don't know what to call that, confession, we'll start. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Oops. Hello, Dad. Dad needs my help. Okay.
A couple seconds. Just hold back.
I'll be right back, guys. 7-layer chocolate cake. I've eaten 7-layer chocolate cake. Most likely. No? Okay. Bye-bye. Sorry about that, folks. Hey, Rigadan! Hey, Merska. And hello again, Innie. Okay, sorry. My parents. My dad needed my help cleaning up the living room, and Mom was making brownies, and Dad kept wanting to add weird things to the brownies, and I was like, no. So, we've got our main character here, Isao. Just how long am I expected to wait out here anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 p.m. Ah, yes, the note, slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. As far as cliches go, I'm more a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this way shows a bit of initiative. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white-painted sky are the only sign of time passing in this stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time has slowed to a crawl. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone is approaching me from behind. Hisao? You came? A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of that dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than an eavesdropper to a conversation. I turn to face the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. Iwanako? I got this note telling me to wait here. It was yours. Damn it, I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line, and that was the result. Pathetic. Yes, I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joyous smile that makes me so tense I couldn't move a single muscle even when I tried. My heart is pounding now, as if it were trying to burst out from my chest and claim this girl for itself. So, here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The cacophonous noise is music to my ears. Iwanako flinches ever so softly against the gust of wind. As it passes, she rights herself, as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine, and she lazily twirls her long, dark hair around her finger. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you'd go out with me. I stand there, motionless, save for my pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond the breaking point. Hisao? I reach up to try to massage my throat, but this only sends spikes of blinding pain along my arms. Hisao! My whole body freezes save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror. Hisao! The beating in my chest suddenly stops, and I go weak at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky, Iwanako running towards me. All these fade to black. The last thing I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Iwanako screaming for help, the incessant chatter of the branches above. Four Leaf Studio presents Katawa Shoujo. So that's the start of the game. The Hive Mind wrote part of this. You guys still with me over there? I'm sorry I abandoned you right at the start, but I had to help my parents. Is that an eye dropper? It's been 4 months since my heart attack. That whole time I can probably count the times I've left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts, so I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arrhythmia. Strange word, foreign, alien one. One that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition. It causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently I've had it for a long time. I said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything happening. Is that really a miracle? Guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. It really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I'd already had a full day by then to digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from treatments. When I was first admitted, it felt like I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and the get-well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers because sending me their sympathy had turned into a class project. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Iwanako was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about, even when she visited anyways. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. The hospital? It's not really a place I'd like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they're in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I'd ask the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. God, I know that feeling. So I'd idly observe the scar that those surgeries had left in my chest slowly change its appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of an omen. I still ask the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answer shows that there is at least some hope. At some point I stopped watching TV. I don't know why, I just did. It was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital, although it was more like a storeroom for books. I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I even became a bit addicted. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands. But I loved the stories. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly hard to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mass I was trapped inside, sort of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing it. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness through the barrier of nonchalance I had set up for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that happened only rarely, and I couldn't even cry. Today the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems to be excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been a few days since I've last seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There's this ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time sorting his paper, then setting them aside as if to make a point of the politeness of what he just did. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks at me in the eyes for a moment. "Hello, Hisao. How are you today?" I don't answer him, but I smile back a little at him. I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We have all your medications sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription. The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. I take it from his hand and take a look at myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medications staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. This is insane! Side effects, adverse effects, contradictions, and dosages are listed line after line with cold precision. I tried to read them, but it's so futile. I can't understand any of it. Attempting to only makes me feel sicker. All of this for the rest of my life? Every day? I'm afraid that's the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that list fade over the years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? I'd have felt better if you hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please, calm down, Hisao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down? The way he says it, he tells me he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever of my concern shows, it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What? Am I? There's a 24-hour nursing staff, and it's only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. Majority of students live on the campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make it a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, that's only if you want to go, but your mother and I really aren't able to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look a couple weeks back. I think you'd like it. Looks like I don't really have a choice. Compared to your other problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. Pardon. Compared to other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamned opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and well, it's not the same one. A special school. That's an insult. That's what I want to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. All the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need a little help in one way or another. Your father's right, as many of the graduates of the school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is! I really hate that something so important was decided for me. What can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny. I always thought my life was actually kind of boring. But now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now, something about how I can go back to school anyways, but no, I don't say anything. Fact is, I know now it's futile. Look around the room, feeling very tired of all this. The hospital, doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really is no choice. I know this, but there's the thought of going to a disabled school. What are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. That's all I can think of to get me through this. At least there's something even... At least there's something. Even if it's a special school, it's something. It's a fresh start, and my life isn't over. It would just be a mistake to resign myself to thinking that. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life would be like. Act 1. Life expectancy. That must be our Hisao. The gate looked far too pompous for what it was. In fact, gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and gray plaster assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. I wondered if it looked like what a gate for a school should look like, but really decided probably no. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about a gate for too long, so I entered through it with a brisk pace that felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. So I walked towards the main building of Yamaku Academy with a brisk pace. I'm alone, as my parents are taking my stuff to the dorms, and there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. It doesn't feel like the kinds of grounds a school would have. More like a park with clean walkways going past trees and the smell of fresh cut grass and all other park-like things. Words like clean and hygienic pop into my mind. Makes me shudder. Oop, excuse me. I shake them off. Stay open-minded now. It's your new life. You have to take it as it comes. That's what I tell myself. A few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies, too big and too many for just a school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley. Even though I was told this is my new school, in the back of my mind, it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if this feeling is real or caused by my expectations of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kind of eerie. Makes me wish there was somebody here so I could anchor myself to something tangible instead of having this feeling I've stepped into another dimension. The trees hum with the wind and the green hues flashing all around me catch my attention. Makes me think about hospitals again, how they say that operating rooms are painted green because green is a calming color. So why am I feeling so anxious despite all this greenery? Only after I stand in front of the haughty main building, I surprise myself by realizing why the gate bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back, even if I had no life I could return to. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back home anymore. Feeling nervous, with the realization set in my head, I open the front door. A tall man with bad posture notices me as I enter. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical. You must be Niki? Nikai. So you are. Excellent. I am your homeroom and science teacher. My name is Mutao. Welcome. We exchange a handshake that is neither firm nor sloppy, and he looks at his watch. The head nurse asked you for a brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, this afternoon is probably fine. We should get going and introduce you to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. Waiting for me? I really don't like being the center of attention, but I guess it's an inevitable situation like this. Somehow not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost miss what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to the class? Why? Why? Do I have to? Of course not. That's why I asked. Right. Let's go then. and Inigo is asking, who am I going to romance? My heart is pounding in my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. Third door, down, the third floor corridor is marked as the classroom for class 3-3. Well, that makes sense. I forget what the choices were, Inigo, but I remember liking the dark-haired girl with the long hair. She was a bookworm, so I liked her. Third floor down from the third floor corridor is marked as classroom for class 3-3. Katawa opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late again. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Ah, get a grip. This is a big step. I know that. There isn't any point worrying so much about it, at least not so soon. I follow the teacher into the classroom and look around, partially so I wouldn't have to meet the curious gazes of my new classmates. That one back there. I don't know if you guys can see. It's pretty spacious. The ceiling is unusually high, and there's lots of space left around and in between the desks. The entire wall is taken up by blackboards, and the high, old-fashioned windows only make it seem larger. She looks grumpy. The students' desks are just standard wooden desks with a shelf underneath for books, wooden chairs, metal frames. Simple and efficient. I stopped walking in front of the classroom and faced the other students. They all look normal, like students in any other school, but then why would they be here? They're probably like me and have something wrong with them, only it's just not immediately obvious. Then I notice one of the girls seems to be missing a thumb of her right hand. That's a little jarring. Despite the natural tendency to listen when someone is talking about you, I tune out the teacher's speak halfway through while he introduces me to the class. I notice a flash of dark hair and see that someone looking at me, a girl with long, straight hair. That's pretty eye-catching. As she sees me looking back at her, she covers her face with her hands as if it will make her invisible. There's one boy with a cane leaning against the lockers at the rear of the class. It's weird seeing someone so young with a cane. Another girl seems to be making some weird hand motions. Sign language? She peers at me over the rim of her glasses, then goes back to whatever she's doing. She's kinda cute. So is the cheery-looking girl with pink hair sitting next to her. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her the moment I walked in. Please welcome our newest classmate. He claps his hand, and so does everyone else, except one girl in the first row who has only one hand. I cringe a little, but hide it by bowing in thanks for this applaud I did not deserve. After the applause, there is a brief silence that nobody seems to want to be responsible for breaking. The teacher soon realizes that he should probably say something. He opens up with some intelligible noise, shuts up, so he loses his momentum, and starts introducing me. Nobody seems to be too interested. Maybe I should have said yes to the self-introduction thing. Probably realizing he doesn't know anything about me, he just ends up saying my name wrong again and asks me to write it on the blackboard. I do that and turn to face the class, feeling awkward. I listen to the teacher as he drones on about getting along, while letting my gaze sweep across the classroom. Everyone seems to be listening to him intently, and when he's done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round with one hand against her other wrist that ends in a bandaged stump. That sounds painful. It makes me feel a little bad. We're going to be doing some group work today, so that'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yeah, it's fine with me. That's good. You can work with Hakamichi. She's the class representative. She can explain anything you might want to know, and who else would be able to do that better, right? How could I know? Teacher passes out the day's assignment. Some people what? Teacher passes out the day's assignment and announces that we will be working in groups of 3. It hits me that I don't know who Hakamichi is. Slow, the teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. Oh, right. Hakamichi is right there. Shizune Hakamichi. She calls her name, the cute, bubbly-looking girl with the bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her by the window. Hey, I guess you're oh, this is Hisao. Hey, I guess you're Hakamichi, right? It's nice to meet you. What? I'm caught off guard by her laughter. It's nice to meet you too, but... I'm not Hakamichi, I'm Misha. This is Hakamichi Shi-chan. Giggling, Misha points to the girl next to her, the one I saw using the sign language before. Looks like she had been staring at me the whole time. She nods once, nonchalantly, to show that she acknowledges my presence, but only barely. She has short yet carefully, neatly brushed hair, a pair of oval-shaped glasses balanced on the tip of her dainty nose, and dark blue eyes that seem to alternate every few seconds between analytical and slightly bored. It's nice to meet you. She immediately looks at Misha, who smiles and makes a few quick gestures with her hands. Hakamichi nods and makes a few gestures of her own. I'm starting to wonder if the teacher was messing me and saying things like, you'll be able to talk to people, and who better to explain things to you. I can see you're a little confused, right? Right? I understand why you would think so. Think I was Shi-chan? Shi-chan is deaf, so I'm the person who translates things back and forth for her. I'm like an interpreter. She says it's nice to meet you too. You're the new student, aren't you? Well, Shi-chan, of course he is. If he wasn't, he would have been standing up there for no reason, right? Misha looks at me with a weird expression and continues. We don't know much about him. Maybe we'll find out later. Maybe I should have introduced myself after all. Gee, you think? Anything would have given a better first impression than the teacher's drone and fumbling with my name. We know there was going to be a new student. We didn't know you would be here today. So soon, He-chan, right? He-chan? Yep, it fits, doesn't it? Did I say it out loud? It's just a surprise. I've never liked that nickname. I don't really see how. It fits! You look just like I imagined. You're right. Yeah, you look just like a He-chan. I wonder why everyone seems to think so. Hakamichi taps her fingers on the desk to get Misha's attention, and they gesture back and forth at each other excitedly, their hands a blur. Misha seems a little overwhelmed. Sorry about that. Shi-chan wants you to know that she's the class rep, so if there's anything you need to know, you can feel free to ask her. Beep! I'm being gobbled by a destro. Sorry, folks. Gotta pay attention to my boyfriend for a second before we keep playing the dating game. So Shizune says nothing? Shizune. Aww. Destro has to go to work. Do you like the school so far? We can show you around a little if you haven't had time to walk around and familiarize yourself with it. She says ... She does not say ... She just says nothing. There's nothing to be said there because she's waving her hands around, but if I wave my hands around, y'all wouldn't see it, so... Yeah. I don't know. Misha stumbles with the hard word a bit, making it stick out in her otherwise fluid translation. Thanks, that would be pretty helpful. Yeah, it just kinda came straight to class today. Shizune says nothing. That's no good. You should always try to learn as much as you can about where you're going before you go there. Not just with school, either. Always, even if it's a trip to the convenience store. Really, Shichan? Learn about where you're going. I guess I didn't bother to do that. Just didn't care enough to do so. I didn't look forward to this, even if I committed myself to go along with it half-assedly, but anyway. I don't say anything, and Misha signs something that ends in a shrug. What was that? It seems like it was about me. I feel like slumping over in my seat. Both of them are smiling, but that shrug hit me unexpectedly deeply. You look down. Are you okay? Shizune signs. Don't take it the wrong way, please. I hate when people are afraid to ask questions. That's how people learn things, by asking. As for help, it's perfectly normal, as much as needing help. Stop looking like you just failed a test. Alright. Ah, and another thing, you don't have to call Shi-chan something so formal like Hakamichi or class rep all the time. Just call her Shi-chan. Ah, okay, maybe that's too casual. Maybe Shizune would be more appropriate. My music just ended. That's weird. Did my headphones die? No? That's weird. Can you guys still hear the music? No music. Okay. We've lost music. Oh well. Maybe it'll restart. Shizune signed something again. Yep, Shizune is fine. Okay. That'd be a lot easier for me. I feel a lot more at ease. Both of them seem so friendly, so I feel like an idiot for being so apprehensive earlier. Especially about Shizune, who assumed to be all business. Well, she still seems like that, just less so, I guess. Shizune signed something with an exclamation point. Huh? Oh right, we haven't even touched the assignment. We should start work now, or Shi-chan will get mad. There's the music back. Oh, excuse me. I'm drinking soda, so a little burpy. Apologize. Reikuden agrees with Inigo that Shizune is the best. Okay. Y'all want me to go with Shizune? The assignment is also kind of long, so we should start now if we want to finish it before the end of class. That too. Shizune is signing and looking sad. Oh, look at that very tiny, frowny face. Shizune glares at the two of us impatiently. I don't need to know sign language to understand that. Okay, I get the message. Shizune. After class, we can take a walk around the grounds together. It's a nice day today, okay? The assignment is actually very challenging and to get through, combining aspects of being both difficult and unnecessarily long. Still, we finished it a few minutes earlier than anyone in class, despite our late start. Despite our late start. Shizune and Misha are really capable. They're quite different, though. The class rep is calm and professional as she looks, while Misha's a lot more playful and girlish, not to mention a little more easily distracted. To be honest, the two of them did most of the work. I feel guilty about that. The clock tower. Done now? Good. The clock tower bell rings, signaling the end of the period. Time for lunch. God, that is the ugliest picture. Look at that. We've got buck teeth and a big nose and... Ew. It's all out of proportion. Without knowing what else to do, I follow Misha, who's beckoning me into the hallway and down the stairs. We descend even below the lobby where I met Muto, and down to the bottom floor. Just like everything in the school, the cafeteria seems too spacious and oddly modern in contrast to the classic exterior. Boy, there sure are a lot of people talking in here. Its big windows open to the courtyard towards the main gate. It's the cafeteria! Her enthusiastic statement of the obvious made people around us stare, but Misha doesn't seem to care, so he proceeds in line. It's a rather long list of menu items, which seems great until I realize that many of them are to accommodate students who need special diets. How nice. It almost feels like I'm back at the hospital, eating portions measured with scientific precision to meet the needs of the patients. I pick something at random and follow Shizune to a table sitting opposite of her. So I nibble indifferently at the food I'd rather not eat. Misha pokes me in the side to get my attention and points to Shizune. Sign something? I don't understand signs, so the point escapes me. Maybe looking at the person who talks to you is proper and polite? Do you want to know something? What? About anything. We're your guides, so you should ask if there's something. I wonder. We totally gotta ask at the library. Oh yeah, is there a library in the school? Lately I've gotten into reading a lot, so I'd like to check it out. Misha gives the kind of frown that makes clear she doesn't consider reading a healthy hobby, but then picks up her smile again. There is! On the second floor. We can show it to you sometime. Thanks. I turn to my food while the girls talk between themselves. Misha and Suzune sign back and forth very animatedly, throwing sideways glances at me that Misha refrains from translating. Maybe they're talking about secret girl stuff or something. Oh yes, you know us girls, we've got tons of secrets. Quickly notice conversation and sign is not enough to fill the silence. We arrive in the classroom early, but we're not the first. The dark-haired girl I noticed before has slipped over her desk in the last row. Aww, she looks so scared. She jumps a little when Misha crashes into the room with the elegance of a rhinoceros. She shrinks deeper into her seat, and I can feel all the tension. I can feel her tension all the way from here, as if she were slowly turning into stone just from our presence. Misha and Shizune don't notice her, either don't notice or don't mind it as they walk directly past her to their seats and begin to converse. I'm left wondering about her, even when the classroom slowly fills with other students and finally the teacher. Vicodin has forgotten how the visual production for such games like this is known, but it's still good. Yeah, it's different, but I like it. It's a visual novel. It's not really meant to be flashy, I don't think. Heck, the fact that they put the girls into different poses when they're signing, I think, is something, at least. Misha and Suzune, and they're signing to one another. Alright, the teacher arrives. Getting into the rhythm of school feels strange. It's as if my brain remembers how this is done, but my body doesn't. Towards the end of class, I start yawning and counting the minutes left. I shouldn't be this tired on my first day of school. Maybe it's the long time spent in the hospital that made me like this. I'm even feeling physically weak and lifeless. Ugh, know that feeling. Before long, the final bell rings. School is finally over for the day. Beside me, Misha and Shizune are having a short conversation. After a bit of deliberation, Misha turns to me. Shizune, sign something? Unfortunately, we can't stay and show you around today, Hee-chan. We got to hurry on already since there's a lot of work for us to do. Sign some more. You'll find your way around here, I'm sure of it. Ah, wait, the teacher said I had to see the nurse. Where do I have to go? Is that so? We can show you. We can at least show you that much. Come on, the nurses have their own buildings, so we have to go outside. We join the flow of students making their way down the stairwell and outside, with the girls pointing out the other senior classrooms in the same hallways as ours. And there's someone spamming my chat. You. Goodbye. I feel powerful, I just banned someone. But that's not tolerated. Oh. When we get outside, the girls make their way to a smaller building right next to the school. I guess that one? It's built in the same style, so it actually looks like it's a part of the main building. This is the auxiliary building here. There's a lot of official and important stuff inside, like the Yamaku Foundation office and let me try that again. The Yamaku Foundation office and all the nurses' offices. They even have a swimming pool. How is that official? Don't be silly, Chan. It's for physical therapy, of course. Anyways, all the nursing staff I am tripping over my own words. Anyways, all of the nursing staff facilities are in there too. The head nurse's office is on the first floor. You'll be fine from here, right? We'll be going then. See you tomorrow. Yeah, thanks. Bye. A whole building for stuff that has nothing to do with actual education? I guess it's necessary for a place like this. I walk in hoping that it really will only be a quick visit like the teacher said. On a white door to the left is a green cross with the text Head Nurse and a nameplate. I knock, and a voice from the inside replies to my knock almost immediately, but I can't quite make it out. It sounded a bit like an invitation to open the door, so I invite myself further in. The room is not so large and it smells strange. A friendly-looking man turns around on his office chair and to face me as I enter. His desk is neat and tidy, but the bin under the table is overflowing with used medical utensils, and there's at least a dozen coffee cup rings lingering on the desk. Smiling man. Hello there, what can I do for you today? He's young-looking and sort of rugged, but the dimples in his cheeks wash that impression away when he smiles. Are you the nurse? He smiles like a person who's heard that very same questions hundreds of times. Why, yes I am. It says so on the door, no? You can call me by my name or just the nurse, like everyone else. Of course, I shake off my confusion, realizing I should probably grab his extended hand. His handshake is rather firm and friendly. Right, I'm a new student, and my homeroom teacher told me to come and meet you. My name is Hisao Nikai. His eyes light up with revelation. He snaps his fingers. Oh, you're that Nikai. I was just reading your file in the morning. Some kind of chronic arrhythmia and related congenital heart muscle deficiency, right? He gestures for me to sit down in a vacant armchair in front of his desk. Yeah. Good. Well, we've probably been briefed about the school enough, so I'll just go over this quickly. We have all kinds of facilities available, mostly physical therapy and such. There's always someone from my staff around, even at night, so never hesitate to call us if there's a problem. For our nursing staff. Wow, this is like the hospital. Well, not exactly. For instance, we don't do brain surgery here. This joke feels out of place, and I'm left thinking of why you even said it. Yeah, that's just really weird to have so many medical people out of school. You'll get used to it. Not so sure of that myself, but I don't let the nurse know it. Now let me find your file again. While he searches for something from his computer and shuffles around the stacks of paper, I let my gaze wander around the room. It's the epitome of generic, I'd like to say. Beige walls and ceiling, dark gray laminate flooring, all the equipment you'd expect from a school nurse's office. Even a ridiculous educational poster hanging on all 4 walls, reminding me to eat properly 3 times a day and from all 4 food groups. Smiling, the nurse draws a thick vial from a stack and similar thick vials and opens it. Excuse me. So you already have medication for the arrhythmia. Just remember to take your pills every morning and evening or it won't be much help. Apart from that, do you do any sports? Rash stuff like, I don't know, boxing? He grins at his own joke, but I don't. Well, I played soccer occasionally with some classmates. Alright, well I'm afraid I'm going to have to recommend you refrain from doing that, at least for the time being. Oh. My lack of relaxing makes him raise an eyebrow, but really I'm not too bothered by him I'm not too bothered by him forbidding me to kick a ball around. Guess I never did it out of a burning passion for the sport, just to have something to do. Any kind of concussion might be dangerous to your heart and risk another attack. It's not a good idea. Was the previous one caused by a sudden concussion to the chest area? There's no mention of the cause in your paper. Not exactly. I sidestepped the question acceptably, and he glances over at me over his papers, with a more serious expression on his face. Still, you need to keep your body healthy, so some exercise will do you good. If physical therapy and such available, as I said, but I don't think you need such heavy measures. Just get some light exercise regularly. Brisk walks, or even light jogging, jumping rope, that sort of thing. Swimming, maybe. There's a pool here. So I was told. You were? Very good. At any rate, I'm sure you've been told this before. You just need to take care of it to not overexert yourself. He wags his finger to emphasize the point. No need, really. I've heard this 1,000 times already. Absolutely no unnecessary risks. Take care of yourself. Okay. He goes over my papers one more time and sets them on the desk, obviously content. Good. That's it then. Come meet me if you ever need something. I'm ushered out before I realize it. Quick visit indeed. I end up standing in front of the main building and the auxiliary building, although to my eyes they still look one and the same. It's the first real look I get at the other students, so I watch people coming out of the school, going towards the gate or the dorms. Everyone seems to know where they're going. I still keep thinking that most of them don't look too special for being students at a special school. Then again, neither do I. Does that make me one of them? One of us? I should go somewhere too, to prevent me from getting lost. It's around dinner time, but I feel tired instead of hungry. The wariness in me only grows as I trudge towards the dorms, set a little way apart from the main building complex. There's a garden of sorts between the school and the dorms, shrubbery, flowers, and that overbearing smell of fresh-cut grass that fills the atmosphere. I have to say, I do not like the smell of fresh-cut grass. It's one of my least favorite. Taking a drink there, sorry. It dawns on my tired mind that the smell feels novel because I haven't been outside at all for so long. The dorm building is big and made of red brick like the others. It feels way too pompous for what it is, so I push forward, going inside. It takes more time than necessary to fish out the key I was given from my pocket. Room 119. Despite the ornate interior, the inside of the dorm is fairly new, functional, and boring. Just like the main building, the halls and doors are wide to accommodate wheelchairs. The same goes for the elevators at the end of the hallways. Poke my head around the corner of the common room door. Inside, a few students are watching the television. One nods and gives a quick hello before turning back to the TV. Seems that only the girls around here are sociable. I suppose that's perfectly fine with me. Climb the stairs to the upper floor. Here, small corridors branch off from the main hallway. Each of these minor halls seems to have a toilet and a shower, as well as 4 rooms. About halfway down the hall, I found spy room 1119. 119. Not 1119. It'd be on a 10th floor, not the 1st floor. The name plates on the rooms adjacent to mine are blank. I guess there are just 2 of us here. Light shines from below the door of room 117, so I knock lightly. Hello? Is anyone home? From inside I hear a few movements and the clicking of way more locks than I thought these doors had. After a few moments, the door squeaks open. A boy wearing glasses is standing in the doorway. He's looking at me very intently through his extremely thick eyeglasses. Who is it? blind? No, at least not completely. Why would he have eyeglasses if he was? He leans closer to me until our noses are almost touching. His breath stinks of garlic. Hisao Nikai. I'm moving into the next room. I thought I should introduce my... His face suddenly brightens in realization. He stands back upright, thrusting his hand out in a smiling greeting, almost straight into my diaphragm. Ah, sups, dude. Name's Kenji. Hi. Take Kenji's sweaty hand and shake it, still a little rattled by the sudden change of attitude and the vehement welcome. There were some suspicious-looking people going in and out of your room earlier. It was probably my parents. Your parents? You sure? Because it could have been some other people, too. You can't judge a book by its cover. His out-of-place proverb is left hanging between us awkwardly as I try to think of some way to respond. I'd say the chances are high enough. So Inigo has missed what girl I was going to try to pursue. You guys seem to be rooting for Shizune, but I like the girl in the dark with the long dark hair, personally, but that's just me and my long dark hair. I also thought she looked a little bit like Iwanako, that Hisao here has a crush on, so... There's a bunch of girls. Let's try and get to know them before we make a decision. He shudders and makes some exaggerated hand gestures. You're a brave man, Hisao. Me, I don't think I could trust the chances. The only one I trust is myself. Does that mean I shouldn't get to know you either? Thinks about this for a while. A wise decision. Damn, you're smarter than you look. Probably. What do you look like? I hope not smart. He squints his eyes and leans closer again, but I lean backwards to dodges. Okay, I should go with her then. Okay. Never mind, it doesn't matter. With that, he turns, fumbles around for a moment in search of the door handle and shuts the door behind him. I slide the key into the lock of the door marked 119. Blank beige walls, white linen, a desk made of some type of light wood, ugly curtains. It's no one's room, impersonal, like my hospital room was. My bags are sitting at the foot of my bed, looking a lot emptier than they did this morning. The closet is sitting open, stacked with my clothes. Also, it seems a number of school uniforms are hanging there as well. Notice pinned to the sleeve of one of the shirts. Hi, Hee-chan! We've unpacked your things and made your bed. They said that if these don't fit, then you should go to the office tomorrow. If you have any problems, you can always call us. Love, Mom and Dad. Well, at least I don't have to worry about unpacking. That's really nice of them, but it's weird that he didn't, come say goodbye to them or anything. I have a feeling... See, if it were my mother, she would have to see me off, at the very least. And... that whole going for a few days between visits at the hospital would never happen. She would be there every day, almost constantly. And my dad, of course, would be along with her. Dad's a little less, I hate to say clingy, but my mom loves me. I'm her little girl. So, and Dad loves me too, of course, but he lets me be a bit more independent. He knows I can take care of myself, so he's not quite so always checking in on me every day. But I couldn't imagine going to a new school and not saying goodbye to my parents and just leaving them to unpack my things in my dorm room. I'd just be like... I would help with that and then go to classes or something, Usually you show up on the weekend and then go to classes during the week. I don't know. But Hisao does not have to worry about unpacking. He kind of hoped I would have, then there would have been something to do. It's still too early. Put the note on the desktop and lie down on the bed, feeling drained. Lying there makes me want to read something, but I have nothing with me. More of the hospital conditioned me for wanting to read whenever I had nothing to do. The restless urge just keeps growing until I have to stand up. Maybe it's stress or something. I was pretty nervous about it before coming, and for the entire day today too. I still am, I think. Damn, I have to distract myself somehow, so I won't be this unnatural all the time. Tomorrow I'll go borrow some books from the library. Yeah, I'll do that, but for now... The bottles of medication are neatly arranged on my night table catch my eye. I pick one up and shake it just to hear the contents rattle inside, then read the glued-on pharmacy label. Hisao Nikai, 2 tablets daily to stay alive. Doesn't really say that, but just as well. It's kind of twisted having your life depend on chemicals like this. I resent it a little, but what choice do I have? With a sigh, I begin my new daily ritual of taking the right number of pills from each bottle, being careful to check the correct dosages. Lie down again, feeling hollow and uncertain, and after that I keep staring at the blank, unfamiliar ceiling for a long time. It doesn't start looking any more familiar, not even after darkness falls and long shadows draw across my room like fingers. The sheets feel slightly more comfortable, warm and nest-like against the chill that passes for room temperature here. Soon the lighter shade of darkness that is the ceiling looks like every ceiling does at night, and it becomes the only thing I recognize anymore. The night beckons me to sleep, and I feel the coldness of unfamiliarity and fear creeping up my spine once again. I keep drifting further away from the world I knew. Poor kid. Probably gonna have nightmares or something. Katawa, Shoujo. Shoujo? Shoujo? Shoujo or Shoujo? I wake up in a strange room. Solid morning light shimmers against the light gray ceiling. I had forgotten to draw the curtains closed last night. This is my room, isn't it? My room. This is the 3rd room of this year that I'm supposed to call mine. Inigo found something. What did you find? Also, I can smell the brownies my mom is baking. A flowchart! Oh boy, flowcharts! It's a big flowchart. Actually, it's a very tiny flowchart. Oh! No, it's a big flowchart. What do all the colors mean? Oh, we don't want to follow those. Oh, or maybe... Oh goodness. I can die? I forgot I could die. Okay. Interesting. Apparently you can die in this game. Just... that's not good. But you do have a life-threatening medical condition, so... I guess it makes sense. Let's see. Various things around here remind me that indeed it's me who's supposed to be the one living here. My bags on the floor, my new school books on the desk, my numerous medications on the night table. Stare at the bottles for a moment, deliberating until I open a bottle, shake out a pill, and pop out a tablet from a foil sheet. Down them with a chaser of water without thinking about the chemistry. My uniforms are in the closet. I sink out from under the sheets and stretch my back before dressing up. Putting on a new school uniform, that feels like dressing in someone else's clothes. The artificial smell of generic detergent invades my nose, but the feeling of fresh cloth against my back is a good one, a natural one. It feels like a school uniform, as it should. It's not much different from what I used to wear before. It goes for other things, too. This place seems more or less like a normal school. Except for the people. Think back to my talk with Kenji yesterday, Misha's constant laughter, and Shizune's sweeping sign language gesture. I should go to the library. Okay. Well, I've only met 3 students thus so far. Maybe they aren't that normal, but I'm sure the others are. And perhaps people like them are what passes for normal around here? Yeah, what does pass for normal around here? What do people do? I didn't see a lot of kids hanging around after classes yesterday, so maybe there are clubs. If so, I wonder if I should join one. All through class, the question remains on my mind, so I decide to ask Shizune about it when we split into groups. After all, she did say if I had anything I wanted to know, I should ask her. Shizune. Signs and things. She crosses her arm and shifts her gaze slowly to Misha, who looks more preoccupied with trying to grind the eraser of her pencil down so that the top is perfect and evenly flat. And Shizune grows grumpier because Misha is ignoring her and not translating. Sorry, Shi-chan. Is there something you wanted from me? Oh, I see. That is a good question, Hee-chan. My first thought is that she means she doesn't know, which was worrying. Maybe I'm being too negative. Well, anyways, Misha, please don't prove me right. Shizune continues to sigh. Oh, that's right. Everyone is encouraged to join a club. A lot of people do so because there really isn't anything else to do. There are also school events, like the festival coming up in a few days. Almost every student in the school tends to help out with it doing whatever. So, you actually transferred in a busy time. Maybe you can help out too. Sure. What's the festival about? Misha freezes. I don't know, Hee-chan. Truth is, it's a local event, and I'm not from the area, so... Signing. She starts signing desperately to Shizune, asking her to bail her out. Shizune adjusts her glasses at the end of an oddly grandiose flourish and starts signing hard and heavy. Signing. Huh. Oh. Who cares? Misha puffs out her chest as she shouts Shizune's word out at me. With a disproportionate amount of pride. Too loud, I can see heads turning to look in her direction. Not so loud. Shizune looks embarrassed. Human beings evolve with each new generation. The ideals and beliefs behind a festival will inevitably change with time. Shizune says. Now it's about delicious fried food and amusing little games that you play to win prizes. She clears his throat very loudly, batting his long wooden pointer against his other palm like a baton. He shoots a pointed gaze at us. Finally noticing where we are, Misha stifles a yelp and quickly quiets down. Eep! Shizune doesn't seem embarrassed at all, though, brushing it off without a care. Shizune? Oop! My mother is shouting at me. Yes? Hold on, I'll be back. Yes, Mom! Sorry about that. My mom was calling me. You probably heard it before I did because I have my noise cancelling headphones on. So yeah, Annie, I wanted Hanako's route, so we'll go to the library. I may have also gotten a brownie. Ow, it's so hot. It's tasty. We're in the middle of class and should start working. That's right, Shi-chan. What? That's right. Hi-chan, are you asking because you're interested in joining a club? Could have been my eyes playing trick on me, but I think I saw a suspicious glance exchanged between them. Misha's tone has also changed, although it does that every other word anyways. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Misha and Suzune look at each other again. I'm about to ask what they have in mind when something dark flutters in my peripheral vision, catching my attention. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the girl with the long dark hair get up from her desk and slip silently towards the door. It didn't seem like she was working in any group, and no one seems to notice her but me. I glance at the teacher, who's also looking at the dark-haired girl go. Why doesn't he say anything? Hi-chan, is something wrong? Do I look as uneasy as I feel? Or was Misha just looking at me, looking after the girl who'd left? No, nothing. Shizune, sign some stuff? Okay, well, like we were asking, you don't have any plans for lunch today, do you? I thought I would go to the library and pick up some books. Not really. Do you want to have lunch together then? Sure. Yay! Okay, Hi-chan, perfect. Speaking of lunch, more brownie. Oh, no. The rest of class passes uneventfully. The girl with the long hair never came back. Before I had the time to put any more thought into where she could have gone, the teacher informs us that it's time to stop working. Shizune looks more than a little annoyed that we only just barely managed to finish all our work in time. I'm just glad we finished it at all. It's not like it's a contest or anything. Shizune? Yes, it is, Hi-chan! Impossible. Really? Really. I noticed this before, but it's kind of funny how Misha is always moving her hands and signing not only everything she says, but what anyone else is saying at any given time. Obviously, it must be so Shizune can understand it. Her eyes dart back and forth between Misha's hands and me. I don't know who I'm supposed to be looking at. I'm talking to Misha, but that might be wrong. Maybe I should face Shizune. I'm used to looking in the direction of the person whose voice I'm hearing, but really, Shizune can't hear me, but it would be disrespectful to talk to her only through Misha. Then again, isn't that what she's doing? No, she's at least looking at me. This is all very confusing and will take some time to get used to. It's not a contest because contests or competition is over a prize. If there's no prize on the line, it's not really a contest. Shizune's eyes flash dangerously with a competitive glare. She stares at me as if surprised that I'm challenging her. I think maybe this is a contest to her. I never noticed how dark and blue her eyes are. It's truly an alluring gaze. Are you sure, Hi-chan? Very sure. You're wrong, Hi-chan. Because I don't want to be the slowest one in class. Therefore, what's on the line is my confidence in my abilities, and the prize is the satisfaction of proving them. Shizune pushes her glasses up on her nose in a very matter-of-fact way. I'd argue more, but the bell rings and she quickly gets up and picks up her bag, looking at me expectantly. I'd almost forgotten that I was supposed to have lunch with them. Where do you want to eat? The cafeteria? Ah, that's so playing. Okay, let's go. Playing? Well, I guess. At my old school, I liked to eat outside, near the back of the building. It was a good spot, but I didn't find it until the end of my freshman year. I wonder if there's a similar place to eat here. Misha seems to imply as much. Shizune and Misha pulled me towards the cafeteria, which was surprisingly not packed. Maybe some students favor eating in the classroom or outdoors. I saw some of my classmates had boxed lunches. After we finish eating, Misha picks up where we left off earlier. So, Hee-chan, you wanted to know about the clubs and stuff, right? Right, Shi-chan. Okay, I guess that makes sense to ask first. Exchanging little nods of confirmation, they turn to face me again, and Misha straightens her posture as if she is about to deliver a speech. Hee-chan, do you have anything you're really interested in? I used to play soccer, but I'm not really into it. I don't follow the teams and players or anything like that. As of late, I usually just read a lot. There's a book club, right, Shi-chan? Right, but it seems like they have all the members they can possibly have right now. Sorry, Chi-chan. Sorry, Hee-chan. It's a really popular club. Ah, okay. More to the point, Hee-chan. This means you don't have anything already in mind? Not really. Great. That's great, Hee-chan. Really great. Why is it so great? No reason. Well, Hee-chan, the other clubs in the upcoming festival, there is one other thing. Student council! I see. I didn't know the school had a student council. That was a very melodramatic setup, though, just to tell me that. Pretty sure the two of them know this, because Shizune looks a little embarrassed about it, and Misha is laughing. Shizune quickly retakes control of the discussion in a manner of speaking. After all, it's still Misha who has to voice whatever she says. Right. Hee-chan, maybe you should join the student council. They could use more people. Yes, definitely. You should definitely join. Why? Well, for one, we could hang out every day, Hee-chan. Shi-chan and I are both on the student council. Actually, Shi-chan is the president. I'm starting to get the suspicion that Shizune and Misha might not exactly be the most unbiased people to talk about this with. As if reading my mind, Shizune quickly adjusts her glasses and signs something to Misha. Signing. Of course, we're not trying to get you to join just because we could obviously benefit from you joining the student council, and therefore have an incentive to try and get you to. So you're admitting that? No, we admit nothing. I mean, Hee-chan, of course, it would be nice if you joined, and we'd appreciate it. But even without all that, joining the student council shows a healthy interest in the workings of one's school. Yep, it's true, Hee-chan. Besides, you don't want to spend time with us after school. Don't you want to spend time with us after school, Hee-chan? I can't tell if she's being genuine, if this is really good acting. Both of them seem to be trying hard to look their cutest, although they are already pretty cute to begin with. Well... Sorry. So it's settled then. Welcome to the student council, Hee-chan! What? No! Aw, see, Shi-chan? Of course it wouldn't go so easily. Yep, that's right, though it would be boring if it went that smoothly. Oh well, Shi-chan owes me candy now. You're betting on it? Hey, my life is not a game here. It kinda is, Hisa. Sorry. Shizune seems very intrigued by this, and Misha signs to her, but the aggressive glint returns to her eye. That's interesting, Hee-chan. Let's play a game. That's not what I said. How about rich man, poor man, Hee-chan? If you lose, you have to join the student council. No, absolutely not. Aw, why not? Because you two both have the same incentive and therefore the same goal, which is to get me to join the student council, right? Yep! Yeah, that isn't my goal, but what this means is that both of you can team up and I'll have a clear disadvantage. So I will have to decline. Hee-chan, I'm very offended. Are you saying you don't trust us? That we pulled something so disingenuous? That makes me sad. Sorry? It's hard to tell where Shizune's influence ends and Misha's thoughts begin. In order to atone for hurting a young girl's feeling, you should definitely join the student council. No! How about a game of paper football instead of rich man, poor man? Paper football? Yeah, it's a game they play in America. You make a paper triangle and then they try to shoot it past the goalpost and the other player makes with their fingers. Isn't it cool? It's the ultimate form of competition between two people, Hee-chan. And it's also played by elementary and middle school children, Shi-chan. That means it's a game that really separates the boys from the men. Unlike the boys from the slightly older boys. Anyway, I'm not going to play that. Either. Just the fact that you know about it means you're probably surprisingly good at it. Yeah, that's true. How did you know, Hee-chan? Shizune frowns at Misha, telling me that she probably wasn't supposed to admit that so readily. I wouldn't say that I'm happy with their attempts to get me to join the student council, but I'm a little curious about what the student council does here. I've never been on one before, and even known anybody who was a member, so it interests me. I also kind of like Shizune and Misha, so maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Okay, Hichan, you know about Risk? It's a game of world domination. I don't know what that is. It's really fun, Hichan. You fight to control the world with armies and everything. Oh dear. Sounds like something Shizune would be good at. If you want, we can play. We can after school. Oh, really, Shichan? We can just play for fun, Hichan. Shichan hasn't played in a long time, so if you want, there would be no strings attached. Well, okay. Okay, perfect! I'll see you after school in the student council room then, Hichan. Wait, why there? Because that's where we keep the game. I grimace to tell them how much I do not like this, but it's more for show than anything. So in the end I agree, but only after getting Shizune to acknowledge that I don't mean anything concrete just by accepting to take a look around and play a game with her. Lunch ends and we go back to class, and I eat another bit of brownie. Oop. And get chocolate everywhere. These brownies have chocolate chips in them, so they're slightly messy. During afternoon classes, the long-haired girl comes back and sits down in her seat without a word. Again, no one seems to notice, or if they do, no one says anything. I want to ask Misha about it, but I don't want to be nosy. After school, Shizune and Misha quickly find me by the first floor lobby and latch onto me, covering each flank in case I might try to escape. I feel a little offended, but I've been considering it. Nevertheless, I'm a bit disturbed that enough people have made a break for it in the past that they're on their guard. What's with the escort? This doesn't make me feel very comfortable. In fact, it makes me feel like a dangerous prisoner being transported to his cell. What's wrong, Hichan? That's right, we're just going to play a game of Risk, remember? I don't know, Amisha. This all seems a little sinister to me. I'm thinking that, well, if I sit down to play the game, they'll tie me down and torture me until I agree to join the student council. That's highly unlikely, but still, for some reason, it just seems like it would be so plausible. Getting to the student council room is as simple as turning 2 corners from where we started. What, that's it? This makes you guys being so on top of me seem a little silly. That's not true, Hichan. She says that when her life is threatened, people have shown capability to pull off superhuman bursts of speed. Life is threatened? Her expression unchanging, Misha signs something amusedly back to Shizune, who makes a baffling face and puts her hands behind her back, looking pleased with herself. Misha feigns deafness and hums cheerily. Stop that, I know you heard me. You have no excuse, unlike Shizune. Shizune opens the door to the student council room. It's a very plain, sparsely decorated room, though there's quite a large, although it is quite large, maybe even a little larger than a classroom. There's a big table in the center surrounded by chairs and a smaller desk prominently placed in the back that I assume is Shizune's. There are a few regular desks and chairs stacked to one side as well. Extras, perhaps? Aside from the tables and chairs, the room doesn't have much else to offer, just a couple of filing cabinets and bookshelves stacked with old school records and documents. Not much else. In fact, nothing else. This is a pretty bleak room. They could at least put a potted plant in here or something. But the most noticeable thing in the room it doesn't have is other people. Are we early? No. What do you mean, no? Does it mean nobody else is coming today? Yeah, that's right. Before I manage to ask why that's the case, Shizune claps her hands together very energetically. Hichan, let's play Risk. Come on, you promised, didn't you? You have to. Okay. You want to know the rules? We can explain to you while we set everything up. While Misha's talking, Shizune takes out what looks like the board game from behind one of the filing cabinets and throws it on the table. Actually, this looks kind of interesting. More brownie. Aw. After Misha spends a little too long for her liking running through the basics with a somewhat vague and confusing tutorial, Shizune cuts in and declares the game has started with a decisive motion slicing her arm through the air. Shizune's aggressiveness is rubbing off on me. I start feeling more competitive than I intended to be when I agreed to this. Last of the brownie. Halfway into the game, while I try to ponder how to defend against Shizune's assault from two fronts, she breaks my concentration by drumming her fingers on the table to get my attention. Hichan, Shisen wants you to know that you're taking too long to make a move. Shichan also says that she will let you keep off stride if you agree to join the student council. I thought this was a game with no strings attached. Just the fact that she dangled this over my head as an offer to me so that she knows I care about the outcome of this game. And anyway, no! Shichan admires your fighting spirit and would be a benevolent dictator who will spare your people if you agree to join the student council. You're so competitive, Shizune. She seems to take this as a compliment. I would expect that the student council president would be a little more magnanimous. Magnanimous? She doesn't seem to know what the word means or how it's signed, so she pulls out a piece of paper and writes it for Shizune, who signs it back to Misha. Misha presses her index fingers against her temples as if trying to physically imprint the word into her memory. Suddenly, Shizune bursts into a flurry of gestures, and Misha looks daunted by the plea of her heated signing. Oh, wait, please slow down, Hichan, she senses you're going to lose. Tell her I will crush her world empire with my rebellion. Ah, okay. Those eyes of hers shine with childlike mischief. Oh no, look at the fox face! She's like, That's cute. She says you have no chance if you keep playing like this. No, you won't. Should we attack aggressively, or it's a trap, or it's played defensively? I think she's trying to rile us up. I think that's the last choice I took as well. What do you guys think? I'm gonna check the flowchart and see if it affects anything. Interesting. Well, I know which one will get Shizune to like us. The flowchart is life. So I just picked the one that flowchart is love. Well, it is a dating sim, in a way. Which one? Or do you just want me to go along with the flowchart? I've even got the kind of detail where the glasses cause the eyes to be a little differently shaped when you look at them through the glasses. That's kind of neat. The art's pretty nice, I'll have to admit. The backgrounds leave something to be desired, but... I guess I'll just go with the flowchart. It's a trap. It's smarter to play defensively here. It's likely that she's just trying to psych me out. Looking at the board again, I have a pretty good defense set up, and I'm not going to wreck it by something reckless. A few turns later, I lose the game anyways. Yujine adjusts her glasses victoriously and allows herself to tentatively pump a fist in the air in celebration. You lost when you allowed me to take North America. I mean, Chi-chan, not me. Getting control of North America is ambitious because it provides a 5-army bonus, but you can attack it from 3 fronts. You must defend them all. I thought you'd have more guts. How disappointing. Ambition, Hee-chan. You need to play with more daring. Ambition, ambition! I was really excited when you took South America, but that's when you switched to playing defensively just because you gained a small advantage. That's no good, Hee-chan. You didn't take enough risks, and when you did, you didn't follow through. That's terrible, Hee-chan. Damn, what's it to her if I played too carefully? There's no need to rub it in my face. I wonder if you'd even be any good for the student council. What is this? Reverse psychology? I guess I don't have to worry about joining or not in that case. Giving up just like that? I expected more of you. Seriously, is Shizune trying to talk me into joining the council? Besides, I don't even want to join. It's only my 2nd day. I can't make that kind of commitment. I haven't even taken a look at any other clubs yet. These two, they're a little weird. Fine, I'll consider joining council, but I want to take a look at the clubs before I decide. Really, Hee-chan? You're not just saying that to make us feel better? Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm just not sure that I want to. Aww. Okay, Hee-chan, but we're not going to give up so easily. You said maybe. There's still a chance you'll come around. Come on, we could really have fun. We could play more Risk, and maybe one day you could beat me unless we graduate before that. It doesn't make me feel any less reluctant about joining, you know. Surely you're not that horrible at board games. Maybe we can play a game you know then. To give you a handicap. I might have said that just to make you feel better, after all. Aw, that's cold, Hee-chan. I take a glance at the clock on the wall and realize I've spent far longer playing Risk than I expected. Sorry, I think I have to go. I wanted to go to the library. It's not closed yet, is it? Sutsune scratches her head and gestures at Misha. How hard can it be to determine whether a library is open? There's a clock right there on the wall. It should be, unless the librarian is absent. I think you're right, Chi-chan. We think the library is open. It's on the 2nd floor. You can't miss it. Do you want us to show you where it is? No thanks. It's okay. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye! Ooh, excuse me. One flight of stairs up and I run into problems. The 2nd floor hallway is a carbon copy of the 3rd floor one. Wide, of course, and plain, like only hallways can be. Problem is the library's whereabouts are not easily as determined as one would think. Classrooms are marked off with signs stating which class they belong to, but then there's a plethora of other unmarked rooms. Is the library one of them, or just somewhere down the hallway? I bet on the ladder and choose my direction at random. As I turn around a corner, an unmarked door draws my attention because it's not closed. It's not open either, it's just barely ajar so that I can see it's open and nothing else. It makes sense for the library door to be invitingly open, and while this one is not quite that, it's good enough. At least it means that someone is inside and I can ask for direction no matter how embarrassing that is. I gingerly push on the center of the door with my fingertips, every muscle in my arm ready to pull back at a moment's notice. The feeling of being an outsider to the school can't be shaken from my mind, so much that I instinctively fear doing something wrong by entering. The door slowly creaks as if groaning from a deep sleep. Though it is much easier to open than I'd anticipated. Leaning over and poking my head further inside to gain sight of the room as fast as possible, the meek "hello" on my lips is quickly snatched away. Oh, isn't she pretty? This is not what I was expecting. I mindlessly left the door open to its full extent, taking sight of the solitary figure taking center stage in an otherwise abandoned room. The situation steals my voice, leaving me standing at the doorway staring at the beautiful girl. Evidently having taken her time to assess the situation, the girl gently puts down her teacup and opens her eyes, but doesn't look at me. Hello there. May I help you? Staring directly in front of her, the movements of her lips seem to break the silence rather than the words. However, it's the soft, measured voice that reminds me she's a being separate from the room itself. Not only is she likely the tallest girls I've laid eyes on, but even among the foreigners I've met, she's strikingly distinct. Hi. Sorry for intruding. I was just kind of lost. She takes a moment to formulate a response before speaking. Every action she takes feels as if it's carefully choreographed beforehand. Care to take a seat? Unexpected, considering that I'm intruding upon her. Thanks. I slowly stepped towards another seat opposite her, the girl resting a teacup and saucer on the wooden table in between. The way she doesn't track my movements with her head is telling that, and the slight cloudiness in her eyes means she must be at least partially blind like Kenji. Come to think of it, her voice doesn't have any detectable accent either. I guess she must be half Japanese. As I take my seat, her composure takes me slightly off guard. Her air of relaxed confidence makes the silence entirely comfortable. The calming atmosphere is so very different from the student council office. I take it you're a new student to Yamako. Yes, I just transferred in yesterday. I get the feeling that my speech patterns don't match the formalities of hers, accentuated by her restrained bow of greeting, one which I hasten to match for finally realizing the futility of the action. I'm Lily Satao. Pleased to meet you. Hisao Nikai. She gives me a nod before gesturing roughly in the direction of her teacup. Would you care for a drink? Sure. As much as it pains me, I can't keep step with her formality in the proceedings. She gives a kind nod, then taking the request in stride. Without another word, she steps off the chair and prepares a second cup of tea from a collection of supplies laid out on the long shelf. A brush here, a brush there, her left hand is often lightly touching the side of whatever container she's pouring into. It seems to be a process she has followed dozens of times before. As I lean sideways to see around her back, she seems to use her long, dainty fingers to measure the right amount of water in the cup. It's one thing to see different disabilities the students of my class have, it's quite another to see how everyone seems to adapt. Shizune and Misha have no problem working together to communicate to me, and Lily herself seems to have workarounds for problems I'd never thought of. While I feel slightly guilty about her doing the work, she seems pleased to be following the correct process of the offer of preparing the drink. So, her soft voice brings me out of my silent observance. Which room were you looking for? It's not often this classroom is visited after school. The school library. Shizune and me, some classmates told me that it was on this floor. She finishes pouring water into the teacup as she nods, a small metallic tapping coming from the teacup indicating it being stirred. I'm aware of Miss Takamichi, as are most students. To be with them means you're in class 3-3, no? That's right, in the science room with Muto. She gives a small giggle before settling down on the teaspoon and walking towards the table, teacup and saucer in hand. He's quite a character. I imagine you'll come to like him. Most do. Oh hey, we get a look at our protagonist. As she sets down the tea, I gently take it and have a sip. I'm really more of a coffee person, but it seems like a rather bad moment to bring it up. Nonetheless, the smell's quite nice. I hardly think it'd be hard to choke down. Thanks, Satao. It tastes really nice. She smiles and quickly waves her hand in front of her face. Lily, please, there's no need to be too formal. She says this in spite of her exceedingly well-bred speech. Oh well. I guess I should try and ask her about myself, as it really does seem as if she's catering to me. So which class are you from? I imagine it's one of the third-year classes? Correct. I'm in class 3-2, which is on the third floor, same as yours. It's taught by Miyagi. Haha, Miyagi. And it's specifically for both blind and partially blind students. I see. Sorry. I felt like slapping myself for the faux pas, looking at her face, though she doesn't seem in the least put off by it. My, there's no need to change your speech on my account. Sure, sorry, I guess I'm really showing my newness here. An environment like this would be a big change, so I can't fault you for it. While the same can't be said for everyone, many have come to terms with their conditions. Category which would include her, it seems. All too ready to jump ship from this particular topic, I segue into another. Do you come here to drink tea often? It's a really nice place. Thinking on it, this might be her version of the place behind my school that I like to have lunch at. I come here fairly often during lunchtimes. My duties as class representative don't leave enough time for an official club, so a friend and I use this room for having tea. Class representative, huh? Compared to Shizune, her mannerisms seem to be almost completely opposite. While Shizune is blunt and fiercely driven, Lily seems relaxed and calm, almost aloof. Come to think of it, she might be useful for a less biased view of the school's clubs. What kind of clubs are there to join? More popular ones are Track and Field Club, which uses the field near the school during lunchtimes, the Baseball Club, and the Book Club in a room near the library. There are also numerous small ones, too, though, such as the Art and Music Clubs. At a time when I'm just wanting to get on my feet, rushing into a club right away seems slightly unappealing. I wonder if the school shares the same rule as my old one. Is it compulsory for me to join a club? They make you join clubs? That's no good. It isn't, though it is encouraged. Ah, good. That's a relief. I've really let down my guard around this girl to let such a thing slip out. The fact seems to slightly amuse her. Not wanting my tea to get cold, I finally start drinking it, and Lily does the same. As I look over the window... No, excuse me. As I look over to the window over her shoulder, I notice the light coming into the room has distinctly orange tint. Even here, time doesn't stand still. Huh, the time's gone quickly. Sorry? Right, she's blind. Of course she can't see the sun setting. It looks like the sun's starting to set. It seems to come as a surprise for her. I guess she must have lost track of the time. Sorry, Hisa. I didn't mean to keep you from the library for so long. I quickly move to allay her concern. Ah, no, it's okay. The library is still open, isn't it? She pauses and it takes a moment to think on it. Probably something I should have asked Shizune when I had the chance, but Lily seems likely to know in any case. True, it's open until 6:30 during weekdays. A quick glance at my watch confirms that I have well enough time to get there. I might get going in that case. It's been nice talking with you, Lily. She smiles and gives a deep nod, her hands still neatly folded on the table in front of me. It was my pleasure. Oh, come to think of it, shall I show you to where the library is? I couldn't possibly ask for more help. I should be able to find it all right. Well, unless my navigational skills fail me, which they seem to have a habit of doing. It's alright, I was going to be talking to the librarian there in any case. I could introduce you. This is getting better and better. It's pretty hard to deny her offer. If you're sure, then that'd be great. Thanks. She stands up to follow me as she takes hold of the straight, retractable cane that had been slipped into the handle of her bag on the floor. Compared to the cane the boy in my class had, Lily's looks much thinner and longer, and his must be for support, whereas Lily's is for navigation. Together we leave the peaceful room and enter the empty hallway on the way to the library. Side by side, my pace carefully slowed to match her, we slowly walk towards the hallway. Down the hallway. It doesn't take long for us to arrive at the door to the warm-looking room, apparently situated in the center of the floor rather than either wing. Ladies first, an appreciative smile at the gesture and taking the lead as we file in. To the left is the wooden library counter, with the library proper being on the right. It easily dwarfs my old school library, with a distinct smell of old books giving the place an almost old-world air. Doesn't seem to be a lot of students here, considering the time. It isn't a big surprise. Everyone's probably either on the school grounds or at the dorms. Yuko, are you here? She says it to the thin air. The librarian doesn't seem to be present, and of course Lily can't see this. What's unexpected is that this draws a reaction. Whoop. Something from under the counter thuds against it, followed by a quiet wail. Oh! The origin, apparently the librarian, quickly crawls out and bounces up to extremely rigid attention. Hi, Lily! How can I help you? Her voice is strained, failing an attempt to sound casual as she's rubbing the back of her head. Good afternoon. What happened just now? I heard a strange sound. It's nothing. I just hit my head. See, I dropped an eraser under my desk, and while I was looking for it, a pencil dropped, and I was looking for both. You came in and surprised me. Are you alright? I'm sorry. I couldn't know. It's okay. It's okay. Sorry for making you worry. This is nothing. I've had worse happen to me. She's quick to reverse Lily's apologies and almost frantically trying to push aside the possibility that she could be in any way inconvenienced by bashing your head on the counter. Yes, worse things have happened. The girl fidgets with her fingers, and Lily doesn't seem to drop her concerned expression, and she shuffles some papers around the counter for no reason. A little shorter than Lily, replete with glasses, freckles, and a troubled look, she seems to fit the library perfectly. Ah, Lily, did you get my message? Message. Oh, the 2 imported books that arrived? Right, they finally came. I can't believe it took so long, but Mr. Celebrations, partially for managing to change the topic, I'm sure, she notices me from the corner of her eye and freezes on the spot when she does. Oh no, I'm sorry for not noticing you before. Did you need to check out a book or return one? I'm sorry. The way she seemed so quickly shift between moods is a little unsettling. He is with me, Yuko. This is Hisao, a new student. Hisao, this is Yuko, the school librarian. Pleased to meet you. Hisao, right, Hisao. Pleased to meet you too, Hisao. For a second, she visibly attempts to engrave the name on her mind so she wouldn't forget. Yuko often arranges to import foreign books in Braille for me. Would you like to tell Hisao a little something about the library? Lily's innocent suggestions met with an expression of abject terror. Please, Lily, I can't. I don't know what you could be interested in. This is too much responsibility. How it's any responsibility at all, I don't get, but her objection is so sincere, I don't doubt for a second that she would rather disembowel herself on the spot than tell me where the light novels are. But... so there are a lot of books in Braille here? I attempt to save the day by asking the first thing that pops into my head. It seems to work, at least partially, as Yuko seems to not exactly relax, but at least look slightly less tense. Well, I think about a third or a fourth of Yamako's library is either in Braille or audio. Makes sense, given all the blind students that beat here. If it's only that, how come this library is so big in the first place? Well, we get a lot of new books regularly because the library is adequately endowed. That's probably why. I spend more on new books than on my salary, and then I have to organize and shelve all of them. It's so troublesome, and they weigh so much. I wish I could quit this job. Very awkward silence follows this revelation of too much information. I'll go check the aisles then, if you don't mind. Probably best for all of us if she doesn't keep talking to me. Fun fact, Inigo says, Yuko and Kenji used to date? But isn't she, like, the librarian, like, as a job? And he's a student? Or is she a student, too? I'm confused. Very well. Meanwhile, Yuko, I would have those books if it's alright with you. My first impression was right. The library is surprisingly big. Ambling down the narrow aisles, I study the spines of the books in random order, occasionally sliding one out to read the blurb, taking it with me if it looks good. In a few moments, I have a respectable stack of books in my arms. I guess I'll never be stuck with choice here. The normality of the library sinks in. Sure, there are large print and Braille books scattered throughout, but it is what it is, a library. It's as if the calm room moved from the room, I had tea with Lily and snuck in here with us. Unless it was here to begin with. Something about that puts me at ease, just like before. I reach the end of the aisle and find a collection of desks set up for study or personal reading. Going a little further, though, I discover a nice quiet corner at the back. While the rest of the library has the odd student sitting at a desk, either reading or stealthily sleeping, the back is pretty much deserted. As I glance around, I see someone who I recognize sitting on one of the several beanbags. Oh, it's a little dark-haired girl from my class. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, excuse me.